Guys, it's Amaya. Welcome back to Amaya's Bible study session. Today we're going to be talking about 1 Kings 16:29 through 19. Yes, so we're going to be talking about the prophet Elijah, okay, who was the last prophet in Israel. There were about 450 prophets of Baal, who was their false god that I don't know how to say his name, King Ahab brought into his kingdom in Israel. And of course, he married the wife Jezzabel. So if you don't know about Jezzabel, comment down below. I will try to give you a study session about her. So, and she also had about 400 prophets of Azarah who eat at Jezebel's table. So basically prophets that Jezebel created herself for a false god. So basically King Ahab of Israel created a false god called Baal. I feel like his name is Baal. And decided to start worshiping this false god. And so what happened is, of course, he got his whole kingdom to agree with him to worship this false god. Elijah, the last prophet of God, was like, no, this is not the right way. So Elijah went to the king and told him there is going to be a drought, not a drop of dew, not even a single drop of water from the sky. It's going to come down for 3 years until I say so. After the prophecy, Elijah told the king, God spoke to him and told him to leave, go east of the Jordan River. Elijah obeyed his commands, but was a little worried, like, hey, what about the drought? I'm living here, so won't I experience the drought? And God's like, I got you, okay? Do you know who I am? I got you. That's my favorite thing to hear from God. It was said that the ravens brought him bread and meat in the morning and bread and meat in the evening, and he drank from the brook. Next is talking about the widow of Zarephath. I think that's how you say it. God instructed Elijah to go there. There was a widow there with her, just her and her son. So, of course, Elijah did what God instructed him, but was a little worried, And God was like, I got you. This woman will feed you. She will be covered as long as you are in her house, as long as this drought is over. He met her while she was picking up sticks and she was getting ready to feed her family. He said, can I have some water and some food? Of course, she was like, hey, this is a drought. I barely have enough for me and my son. I'm going to cook us our last meal and then we are going to pass away. Elijah was like, I am a man of God, okay? I got you. Just do as I said and your flour and your oil will be full. Part 2 is... Hey guys, welcome back to part 2. I'm hoping this is going to be the last part so I don't keep you guys for long. But we were here with Elijah being with the widowed woman at her house. So of course, when she went inside, after she fed Elijah, her flour and her oil were full. It never ran dry, like Elijah said. Basically, after he stayed with the widowed woman for a while, he went back to where he originally lived in Israel and he asked to see the king. Of course, the king said that he was a troublemaker and they had everybody looking out for him. And this is where he met Obadiah. Obadiah was so scared, like, hey, if I go get the king, he's going to know that I've been hiding 100 of God's people in some caves. Okay, so if you leave when you just told me to go get the king, my life is put on the line. I'm not going to make it through today. He said, you know who I am. You know who God is. So go get the king and bring him to me. And that's exactly what Obadiah did. So after Obadiah went to go get the king, Elijah instructed him to get all 450 prophets of Baal, that false god that the king, conjured up, and the 400 prophets of Jezebel's false god, and bring them to the mountain of Carmel. So when the king met Elijah instructed him to bring 2 bulls to the mountain. And they were going to use those 2 bulls to call on their god and tell them to set fire to it. Obviously, the false god, Baal, of course, he's not real, so he's false. So, of course, whenever his prophets called upon him, nothing happened. Elijah was like, okay, my turn. time to represent my God, okay? And he told them, you know what? Just to make it interesting, I want you to throw water on the bull. So if you don't know, if you throw water on something, it is so hard to catch fire. I don't think it will catch fire, because you throw water on it, water, combats fire, so it won't light up. Then Elijah called on God. Boom, instant fire. Boom, boom. No wait. That was then and there where they were like, oh, what? Oh, you've been serving the wrong God this whole time. Elijah's been like, I've been telling you. So it is said that once the prophets of Baal heard this, they cried out, the Lord, he is God, the Lord, he is God. Then Elijah commanded them, seize the prophets of Baal, don't let anyone get away. They seized them, and Elijah had brought them down to the valley and slaughtered there. After that, there was rain for the people of Israel. Like and subscribe. Hey guys, welcome back. So I decided to talk about a little bit about Jezzabel in this part 3. I just wanted to talk a little bit about her. This is not a complete story about her, but I just kind of want to talk about what she did in Kings and Elijah's prophecy towards her. You guys may know that Jezzabel married Ahab, which is the king of Israel at this time in 1 Kings 21 and 22. She was in the previous chapters before that. She is the person that practiced paganism, or whatever you call it, but she was a pagan. She decided to have her own god that she wanted to worship, and she wanted other people to worship too. She's the woman that killed a lot of God's prophets, okay? So she was not in a good place with God, not at all. And I wanted to talk about Elijah's prophecy towards her. So Elijah's prophecy towards her talked about her early demise, okay? And Elijah's prophecy to Ahab and Jezebel, specifically Jezebel, said, and also concerning Jezebel, the Lord says, dogs will devour Jezebel by the wall of Jezreel. Dogs will eat those belonging to Ahab, the king of Israel, who will die in the city, and the birds of the air will feed on those who die in the country. So God said about Ahab that he did more evil things in the eyes of the Lord than any of those kings before him. Any of them. He was more evil than any of them. He said that no one provoked the Lord, thy God of Israel, to anger than all of the kings of Israel before him. That's saying a lot. So if you want to read about this yourself, I commend you to read this yourself so you can get an understanding. It is 1 Kings chapter 16 verse 29 on to chapter 21. So I ask you to read this. I ask you to pray to God before you read about him giving you the knowledge to understand his word and to really be able to teach others about his word as well. So God bless you all, and I hope you all have a blessed day. Have a good night. Bye.